So to start you off, we have a really fun recipe. This is a red lentil soup. Seems pretty simple, but we're doing a little Tunisian twist on that. So Tunisian recipes, most of them have some big, intense flavors. Some of them are milder. This is the key ingredient in our soup today that gives it that kind of Tunisian specialty, which is harissa. Anyone heard? It's not a name. Maybe it's a name as well, but harissa is a chili paste. It's made from some dried smoked chilies, and then they soak it, puree it with coriander, cumin, sometimes ground ginger, some different spices, and it has this incredible flavor. Very round, bold flavor with a little bit of smokiness, not over the top heat, like it's not going to scorch you, but it'll actually absolutely transform your dish. So you can use them in soups, you can use them in rubs, you can use them in marinades, and it's pretty available in most stores now. I've seen them at Loblaws, I've seen them at a few other grocery stores. Loblaws will have them. And it comes like this, usually comes in a can or a tube. And it's pretty cheap. It's like, a couple bucks for a can like this, and this will last you quite some time. You can freeze it as well. It freezes really well. So start off the soup.
Sorry, is it really
yes.
spicy?
It's not super spicy, no. It's got a little bit of a smoky heat to it. If you ate it as a condiment, sometimes it's just used as a condiment, then you're going to get more of that heat. But if you add a little bit to a bigger meal, like a soup, then you're just going to get some of the notes and the smoky notes from it. But if you didn't want to use it, say the heat is just a little too much, then you can use tomato paste instead in this dish, and that'll give it kind of like that concentrated umami flavor with the soup. So either one will work, but you can't call it Tunisian anymore. Or you can, just don't tell me. So we started off just sauteing just a little bit of onion and carrot, just until soft, so gentle heat. I've got a medium heat here, and about 5 minutes or so. I'm going to add a few cloves of garlic and just whole cloves, just giving them a little smash and throwing them in whole. We're going to blend this soup, so that's why I don't mind it going in whole. If you did prefer it a little bit of, a little bit on the chunkier side, like those lentils, you want to see that, then you can chop it up a little bit finer. But for our purposes today, put it in whole, and it's a lot easier to do. So again, just a few more minutes on that. And now to add our spices. So the harissa is going to go in. I want to really emphasize some of those spices that are in that harissa as well. So I've got some ground coriander, some ground cumin, some cinnamon, ground cinnamon, and a little bit of turmeric as well. If you don't like these spices, use your, whatever you do like. Cumin is probably the most pronounced in here. So if that's the one, you're not a big fan of, leave it out. Cinnamon is fantastic in here, and it's used a lot in the North African. So you see it in a lot of Moroccan recipes. You see it in a lot of the Tunisian recipes as well, and it works really, really nice. And most people probably have cinnamon before. It's not so intense as the cumin would be. But otherwise, ground, that's going to go in. The harissa is going to go in as well. Actually, doing a little bit of research from this area, the sort of cuisine, there's an old wives' tale that I came across that you can tell how much your partner loves you or adores you by how much heat and intensity they put into the food. So if there's a bland dish, then the husband usually has to pull up his socks or do something. And heartburn, I guess, is a good sign in translation. So heat is good. Or just intensity of spices if it's not like that chili heat. So that's going to go in. We're going to stir it. And you want to just cook some of those dry spices out a little bit. And just a couple minutes. And again, gentle heat. I've got a medium heat on here. I don't want to burn the spices, especially because they're dry in there. They will burn pretty fast. So just a gentle heat, medium heat. And we're going to go with our red lentils. So we're talking about fiber today. We're talking about protecting your gallbladder. Red lentils are an excellent source of fiber. They have about, for 100 grams, which is about a serving you're going to get in here, about 32% in that area of your daily, your daily value percentage. Yeah. So excellent, excellent, really, really good for you. Delicious. They cheap, cheap in terms of ingredients. They're saying that lentils are one of the best ingredients, bang for your buck in terms of the nutritional value, in terms of sustenance. And they don't take long to cook as well. These take about, if you want to cook them and put them like in a salad or something, about 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Here we're going to cook them a little bit longer because we're going to get them nice and soft. So they're going to go in dry, and we want to put about a cup uncooked, give or take. I'm going to eyeball that and stir it in there. We have lentil fans. Any non-lentil fans here? A couple? Okay. This one's going to be a little different. Hopefully we'll win you over today. So we're going to stir it in there. We're going to add about 1 liter of vegetable stock. You can add chicken stock as well. We have, actually, I'm going to throw a couple plugs in. We have an amazing video on how to make a vegetable stock from scratch. This, for me, is step 1. Learning how to cook. Learn how to make a good vegetable stock from scratch. You can build so many different recipes, not just soup. You can build so many different recipes out of just learning how to make a vegetable stock from scratch. It's very easy. You can use, vegetable scraps, so it doesn't really cost you too much. You can store it, and the difference between a stock from scratch and the store-bought is leaps and bounds. Even just in terms of the sodium in there and just the quality itself. So check it out on our YouTube channel, or if you have, your favorite sort of stock, definitely try to make it from scratch as much as possible. So that's going in, and this is going to simmer for about 30-35 minutes, just until the lentils start to break apart. You'll see them look they're very easy. They kind of not mushy, but they start to break apart a little bit. That's when it's done, seasoned to taste. You can serve it or blend it, and you get this beautiful, creamy, and I'll show you what this looks like. And it's very easy to blend. You can use a hand blender or just carefully transfer it over, and you can see it's super, super, super creamy. We added a little bit of yogurt right at the end, just a little bit of plain yogurt. Just give it a little bit of that creaminess, no cream in there. That yogurt's going to give it a little bit more protein as well. And even just a touch of lemon if you like. And it looks like just like a super creamy, like a squash soup. It's got a really nice rich color. And especially if you don't like lentils, most of the time it's the texture and that thing. This is like a creamy soup without the cream. Really, really delicious, full of flavor from that harissa and the other spices in there. So the soup is done. We're going to add a crunchy element to this. We had a beautiful crispy or creamy soup. We want to add a little bit of texture. Now this is a nice recipe just on its own. We're using beets. Everyone loves their beets, right? Yeah. Some liars in the crowd today. So beets, delicious, really good for you. You don't have to use beets in this, but this will give it a really nice crunchiness if you do like them. If you've ever had them raw, try them raw. Cooked beets or pickled beets, sometimes it throws people off and they're like, I'm never going to try beets again. Fried beets, yeah, you can do that. I probably wouldn't do it here, but you can maybe do that.
Somebody tried to get one fried.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
All right, so there you go. If you don't like the raw beets, you can do that one. But raw beets, really, really good for you.
Can you use the golden ones too?
You can use the golden ones too. Actually, I have a few of the golden ones in there. Any sort of beets. You have golden beets, you have your candy cane striped beets. The red ones are really, really good for you. The other ones are beneficial as well. These actually have properties that help to lessen the fatty deposits in your liver. So don't go overboard on the beets, but include them whenever you can. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to show you very, very easy. I cut them into little matchsticks. So I just peeled it, and you can just use your knife and just very, very gently kind of make these round slices. If you're not comfortable with your knife, grab a vegetable peeler. And my vegetable peeler is breaking today, so we'll see if this works. There you go. And you can just peel it, and you get the same thing. You get these little thin slices, and you don't have to worry about the knife. And then once you have your different slices there, you pile them up, and you just gently cross-cut them like this, and you get your julienne. I heard someone's been doing their cooking lessons at home. Or matchsticks. Julienne or matchsticks. And that's it. Very, 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 very simple. And you have this really, really nice crunch. It has a really nice earthiness, and it's super, super, super sweet. So you don't even have, you don't even have to cook them. They're delicious raw. We're gonna add a few mint leaves to that. Which again, think of the soup as it's got a lot of flavor. It's got this intensity, and you want to have this kind of cooling and crunch effect to pair with it. We have a few golden raisins as well, used a lot in North African cuisine. We'll hit it with a little bit of lemon. I've completely destroyed my cutting board. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'll just wash it right away with the beets. That's the only downfall. It'll look like a scene from Dexter. A little bit of salt, a little bit of olive oil. Chrissy's not here today, so I've learned. Usually it's a little heavier, and that's it. Just a little bit of a toss on there. And I mean, delicious salad on its own, but just add just a little bit to that soup. Gives it, this nice color. And this incredible crunch, nice texture, and that's it. It's a little dirty here, but